Hi everyone, Sherry here, and today I'm using the Frozen Fractals stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. This was part of the January card kit, as well as this light blue parchment paper, as they call it, along with some Delicata white shimmer ink. I'm going to cover the entire piece of this blue-gray parchment paper with some of the various snowflakes in the stamp set. And if you'll notice, I am lifting straight up when I'm pulling my stamp off. I am trying very hard not to move, smudge, rock, what have you. This paper reminds me a lot like vellum, and given the fact that we're using this pigment ink, I wanted to be very careful in trying to stamp these. So I'm going to finish up and I'm going to cover the entire thing, and then I'm going to bring out some perfect pearls. And this card was somewhat inspired by one that Amy R. did over at Prairie Paper and Ink. She did this technique using just the regular cornflower blue cardstock that came in the kit, and I wanted to see if I could do it on this parchment paper. I will tell you though that I did smear the ink in a couple of places. The brush that I'm using, it is a mop brush, but it is an artist mop brush. I think I would have had better results if I would have used a little bit lighter hand and used maybe a cosmetic brush that is a little bit softer than this one. So in the end, instead of rubbing, I started pouncing, and that technique seemed to work a little bit better. I did take this over to my heat tool and try to dry the ink as best as I could. And now I'm just going to clean up my mess here. And so I'm going to show you where I smeared. You can see right there on that one little flower. But I'm going to fix that. I'm going to cover that up with some more embossing. So I'm using my powder tool. And then I'm going to place my sentiment there, which reads, "When it snows, you have two choices, shovel or make snow angels." So using the Misty, I'm going to stamp that with some Simon Says Stamp clear ink. And I'm actually going to do that twice. In the end, I didn't need to do it twice, but just for good measure. And then I'm going to use some white embossing powder to emboss the sentiment. All right, there you go. And then I'm going to warm up my heat tool for about 30 seconds and melt the embossing powder. And you do want to try to keep a little bit of distance so that you don't burn the paper. I did get a little bit of warping, but I was able to work it out in the end. And then I'm taking this piece of Nina Solar White that I have cut out using the MFT Blueprint Sketch number 27. And I also used the third largest Simon Says Stamp basic rectangle die to cut out the center. And I'm going to place the parchment behind the frame. And I'm going to place some blocks on top of it until it dries. And then I'm going to go ahead and get a A2 size top folding card. And I'm going to stamp I Chose Angels on the inside using some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And to dress that up a little bit, I decided to use some new ink that I got from Simon Says Stamp. It's called Barely Blue, and it is a premium dye ink. You can use this with your Copics, watercolors, what have you. And the intent with this ink, and there's another one that is kind of a warm tone, it's more beige, is to use these stamps if you want to do a little bit of no line coloring. So you can use that both with your Copics and your watercolors. So I have the inside all done, and I'm going to use a little bit of Tombow and adhere my panel to my card base. Again, I love the Tombow. It gives me a little bit of wiggle room, and I can get it placed just exactly where I want it. And I'm going to place some clear blocks on here for a little bit and set that aside. So now that that's all adhered, I'm going to use these little bag of sequins that comes in the kit as well, and I'm going to randomly place these around on my card. I'm using both the actual snowflakes and some round flat sequins. And this sequin here that I'm getting ready to put on, I did cut it in half so that I could butt it up right against the frame. And then I used a couple of small cupped sequins as well. And this sequin here is kind of holographic. It's pretty cool. The other two are just plain silver. I'm using my Ranger matte medium to adhere all these down. And so the last one here, get that on. And there you have it. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Bye now.